13 minutes until our official start time.
Do, do, do. We live in the DC area. I'm originally from England, if you couldn't tell. The accent kind of gives it away. Yeah. You are not Chris Flick. Shut up. Not I mean, it is a gimmick, but it's not a fake gimmick.
I'm originally from New Jersey, but I was pretty much raised all my life in Maryland, so.
This table is vibrating so much it looks like a T-Rex is walking in my water. I don't know.
So let's just get a little bit of a gauge.
Okay.
Because something we were talking about is either last night or this morning about, we're used to a DC crowd for AwesomeMania. This is our first time getting to talk to a Richmond crowd. So, obviously the taste of what they like in wrestling will be probably a little different compared to like how DC is and stuff like that. So what are some of y'all's favorite like type of wrestling? Not wrestling promotions, but types of wrestling that you prefer to see?
Nothing. Okay.
All right, we know that's
So just to let you know how this format's going to work, we are a discussion panel. So the idea is people throw up their hands and they talk. They give us topics that we discuss with you. We're not here to just start ranting and raving about our own personal wrestling opinions, even though I will do that at some point and it will involve Chelsea Green. Yeah, just we like to. This is a fan discussion panel, so
you essentially decide.
You
what
are
we
running
talk
the panel and we're just talking, basically. So, just to give you a little bit of my personal history, I'm 40 years old. My first experience with professional wrestling was when I was 5 years old. And my dad took me to the local guild hall in Portsmouth, which seats about 60 people. And we sat in like the 18th row. And I watched, at the time, Steven Regal and Fit Finlay wrestle each other to a 45-minute time limit draw, tying each other in pretzel knots the entire time. And I've been hooked ever since. William Regal for the Hall of Fame already. Bloody Stephanie McMahon's in there. Huh? Yeah, but I'm saying, my point is, if she's going in, why isn't William Regal in yet? Who's actually a wrestler. But yeah, that's a little bit about my history. I'm a little bit more interested in the technical side of wrestling. I prefer my submission, more flippy kind of wrestling than I prefer your ridiculous racist Hulk Hogan's and your stupid Brock Lesnar's and your muscle men that just can bugger off, really. Mike?
So I am 39, going on 40 later this year. And I actually started watching wrestling near the end of 2000, and it was around the time when they're doing the whole Who Ran Over Stone Cold Steve Austin storyline. And the match that ultimately got me into wrestling, and it was because of the whole story build into the match, and then the match itself, was the Armageddon Hell in a Cell. Which had Kurt Angle, Rikishi, The Rock, Triple H, Undertaker, and Stone Cold.
One of those things does not belong. It's Rikishi.
But remember, he did it for The Rock.
Couldn't he have just run over The Rock and saved us 20 years of torment?
So, and then, I've just been watching ever since, and actually, I'd watched TNA when it first started up, and I've always, enjoyed that.
I can't think about the start of TNA without thinking about the angle that they did, where they were relying quite a lot on gimmick matches at the time, and there was an angle on either their first or second weekly pay-per-view where one of their dwarf wrestlers came out with a gun, and then Jeff Jarrett saved the day by hitting him with a guitar. That should sum up early TNA for you.
Yeah, I think, and that was, 2002, and I think probably around 2004 was when it really started to hit its stride.
Yeah, 2004 when it got picked up on Spike, it was really when it really sort of
hit its
off.
stride, yeah. And just
Jeff
like
Jarrett's Reign of Terror.
And I actually got to spend some time with MCW Pro Wrestling up in Joppa, Maryland. I produced and hosted their podcast for a few years. So I got to learn a bit more of the inner workings behind the scenes that way. But I've also, and Ben knows this about me, I've always been more about I've always been a history buff, so I love the Legends of Wrestling stuff and all those type of documentaries. So I'll watch those up like crazy because those are the type of things I really like. And yeah, just like with Ben, I'm also big into the technical wrestling. I mean, some of the
being said,
some of the best matches being
Keith Lee might be God's perfect man. I mean, he's like the combination of a hurricane and a bear, and he gives good hugs.
So.
Yeah, yeah.
But one thing I will say is that, and Ben knows this, and we talked about it on the Finisher podcast earlier this year, and we talked about it a little bit last week when we were at AwesomeCon. I've kind of stopped watching AEW.
So just for a quick show of hands, are we a WWE crowd? AEW.
Oh, y'all.
Of course, you two are AEW. You look like FTR. New Japan? TNA. All right, all of those that don't have their hands up for TNA, you're doing it wrong. It is a fantastic promotion. Please do yourself a favor and tune in.
So everyone, real quick.
Anyone with any other overseas wrestling that they watch? So if I start going into Progress and ICW and stuff like that, a little bit of Progress. All right.
I heard DDT.
DDT.
Yes.
Evil Uno's promotion. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just watching clips of that when we were driving down yesterday.
All right. Cool.
So real quick, I just wanted to see. Can y'all put up the hands for AEW again?
Not bad.
Yeah, y'all are gonna hate me. Okay.
Yeah. Whatever. I already hate you.
I love you too.
So, should we just get started?
Yeah, let's just get right into it. So with that, GalaxyCon Richmond, welcome to AwesomeMania, the pro wrestling fan panel. My name is Michael Lindenbaum. This fine gentleman to my right is your undisputed champion, Mr. Ben Taylor.
Hello. Before we get started, just want to say thank you to GalaxyCon for having us. It's been awesome to make our debut here. Just a little bit about how this panel is going to run. This is the Pro Wrestling Discussion Fan Panel, which means we're here to discuss wrestling. But we do kind of want to try and focus on the good stuff and not so much on the Vince McMahon stuff and the Brock Lesnar stuff. And Tony Khan's dubious habits. But the idea is you guys stick your hands up, tell us what you want us to talk about, and we will.
So in the words of Cody Rhodes.
Hey, that's my line.
You got it last week. I can have it one time.
I've done it at every show. It's literally my line.
Okay, fine.
Richmond, Virginia, what do you want to talk about? Yes. Anyone? Anyone. The Fiend.
Interesting.
It is very clear that the Vision being unable to stay healthy has affected a lot of plans.
Yeah.
Also, can Cody just go away, please? I'm sorry. I'm a little bit biased. I am partially responsible for Drew McIntyre. That's a long story. But yeah, I'm just Cody needs to go away for a while.
I mean, the one thing that we're talking about this morning, because I always read some of the dirt sheets just to kind of see what's going on. They pretty much said that Bronson Reed's injury is the reason we're getting Cody versus Randy now.
No, they said it was the clincher.
Oh, yeah, it was the clincher of why Randy versus Cody's happening now, because that was supposed to be post-Mania, and why we're getting Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu as well right now. Whereas it seems like...
Why can't we just do Drew versus Jacob for the title? Or Drew versus LA Knight? Or Drew versus anyone but Cody?
Because the Vision can't stay healthy.
Yeah. It's... No. I want him to go away. Yes, he was. But, hear me out here. Hear me out here. Cody needs to go away. He needs to take a... And I will very rarely say this, but he needs to take a lesson from Chris Jericho. If you don't go away, we can't miss you. Right? We're having that problem with Liv Morgan right now. We're having that problem with Rhea Ripley right now. Like... You won't ever manufacture new stars into the main event if the old ones don't go away. Right? At least for a couple of months, and then come back when they've healed some injuries or whatever. I don't think we would have said that in the middle of the reign. But he shouldn't be in the title match now. I think I see you. I think Roman's 4-year title reign, while it had its issues, did its job, right? It cemented that title as the title after it being gone for so long on the shoulders of people like Brock Lesnar and so many other people. Having someone hold that title so dominantly for 4 years was a very good story.
And not only that, but Roman also would defend it more often than Brock Lesnar did, which brought more value to the belt.
Now, I don't agree with him being in the match with Punk at all. But
I definitely feel like Punk versus Roman is a main event match for Mania, but it's also one that doesn't necessarily need the title. But I also see why they're doing it the way they are.
Cody Randy doesn't need the belt.
Yeah.
You build it off the entire history with their stable they had
Legacy.
Legacy.
Well, one of the things I was thinking was that as you're talking about like Cody needing to go away, it's like it would be great if Orton took out Cody at Mania, which caused him to go away till like say SummerSlam, and he returns at SummerSlam. You know, because again, like you said, you know, the longer they're gone, the better chance we can take.
Like, did anyone watch SmackDown last night? Like, Randy Orton is beating the absolute smeg out of Matt Cardona, and they're cheering for Randy Orton. Right? Like, that's not the reaction you want when he's supposed to be your heel. Right? Like, we had a question.
So him, and then we had the Fantastic Four person that's
got here as well. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I think part of the issue with that is his refusal to go heel.
Let's also remember, Cody did solve racism. And he got himself a nickname that we're not going to go into. The thing is Cody's in that weird situation where he had the gimmick in New Japan, and then he had the gimmick in AEW, and now he's had the gimmick in WWE. But he's not been in any of those places for long enough for that gimmick to get stale in that place. But he's getting there with WWE.
Well, he was kind of getting there with AEW because
and then he left.
Yeah, because so
maybe he'll bugger off to TNA for a while. Yeah. Because these are the people that sat in a room on WWE Unreal and went, we don't know how to book Chelsea Green.
we had the person, the Fantastic Four,
And
then
then-
her, and then the gentleman in the vest behind Fantastic Four. Do you need the microphone?
Yeah.
Fantastic
Get
Four.
him in the Fantastic Four.
So I was just saying, like, on par with your disdain for Cody and how you want to have him want to go away. Is that like on the same? Is it like the same thing where they try to push Roman the first time and we all rejected it? Is that on the same?
No.
You're saying for like go
No,
away.
no. The rejection of Roman was
He was being
We
forced down Earth.
just don't want you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing with Cody is, as we've discussed, he's very good at what he does. He just needs to go away for a while so that we can miss him, so that when he comes back, we're more engaged in what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Chris Jericho takes breaks every 6 to 8 months, right? And then he comes back and his gimmick's different, and you're reinvented and you're
Reinvigorated.
reinvigorated in him, right? And he, except for when he steals Brian Myers' gimmick from TNA, the Learning Tree, and does it worse. But yeah,
Wrestling
it's
with
not
regret.
that level. It's not go away heat. It's just step back for a minute, have someone else spot the spotlight, build up your LA
Yeah.
Knights, put your Jacob Fatu's in the title picture, because if both Fatu and LA Knight don't get a world title soon,
It's already passed them
freaking
by.
how?
Yeah, and not only
Yeah.
that, but on top of that, one of the other things is that, Cody, like I referenced, Cody hasn't gone heel since New Japan, and I think even when he was in TNA,
Well, he was kind of heelish.
he was kind of heelish in TNA, but he hasn't been a heel. So one of the things, like, say he doesn't go away, him embracing the full heel heat, like he probably should have done before he left AEW, that would add some new dynamics to Cody as well. And it's like, there comes a point, it's like, what was it? Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was a face his entire career.
Yeah.
But obviously, back in the territory days, that's something you can get away with more. But when you're on television every single week, on social media with all the clips and everything, every
There's
single
two
day,
examples
there's
I'll
only
give.
so much you can
There's
do.
two
with it.
examples I'll give. First one's Darby Allin, right?
Yeah.
Darby's gimmick of getting the absolute snot beaten out of him for 25 minutes of a match and then winning in 30 seconds is great when you see him wrestle once a month in an indie promotion. When he's doing it every week on TV, you're just like, get something new. And John Cena
Oh yeah.
didn't change for 15 years. And we are getting to the point of lol, Cody wins at this point. After he
shovel.
finished this man finished his story 2 years ago. Like, tell another story.
We're just getting the DLC.
Yeah, it's what it feels like.
And
And
actually,
you run the risk with John, and carrying on with the John Cena example, you run the risk of the thing that fans have waited for so long in the heel turn falling flat on its face because you execute it poorly.
Oh yeah.
But they did have plans for it, and The Rock just went, nah.
Now,
I thought after Elimination Chamber, I thought my job was done. No, you didn't. You set up an expectation that you're going to show up at WrestleMania, and what you do is send Travis bloody Scott.
it's like if you killed
If that had been The Rock that walked down that ramp at WrestleMania, you would be looking at that match completely differently.
Mm-hmm.
Completely differently. But it's not, because it's bad. All right.
We have you and then the gentleman in the vest.
Yeah.
Going back to Randy Orton getting booed last or cheered.
Cheered,
last night,
yeah.
How because obviously they don't want that. How do you like going into WrestleMania? Should they change it to get
I
him?
don't think they can. Again, as I said, there were really negative reactions to Cody winning the title. It's like WWE's most disliked video on YouTube in years. It's like...
You know, we talked about this, I think it was last week on the panel at AwesomeCon. We talked about Sami Zayn and Trick Williams. And you probably won't, I mean, depending on which night is which match, but like there's talk that maybe they should do a double turn with Sami Zayn and Trick Williams, because look at the reaction that Trick Williams is getting, and Sami Zayn kind of needs to go heel.
No, he doesn't.
Well, he needs to find that dog in him a little bit, because
That's what this whole storyline is doing. They've broken him down so they can build him up.
But taking that same conversation we had last week, relating it to Randy and Cody, could they do that? You know, you embrace it.
If they're gonna do it, they need to do it before WrestleMania. If they're gonna do the double turn, they need to do it before WrestleMania, because people are already booing Cody. They're already cheering Randy Orton. Just do it already.
So next week when he has to apologize to Cody?
Sure. Gentleman in the back in the vest. And please, we've been talking about Cody Rhodes for 20 minutes. Can we get another subject?
So I want to talk about LA Knight as
Yeah,
an LA
that'll
Knight
do.
fan. So as a long-suffering LA Knight fan, are we ever coming back from the botched Elimination Chamber?
All right, so when you say a long-suffering LA Knight fan, do you mean LA Knight or do you mean like Eli Drake?
Well, I mean long-suffering is in like last 5-ish years or so.
Okay, so the
LA
time he's
Knight.
been in WWE.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll come back from that.
Oh, okay.
It's a botch. It happens.
Well, not only,
Everyone botches, dude.
well, not only that, but like the stuff that they're having.
Did you watch the women's tag match last night? Every other move was a botch.
But
That's the one with Nia Jax, right?
yes.
I was talking mainly about the Bellator.
Oh, okay. 6-1
Sorry,
mayhap
I
doesn't.
threw up
I mean,
my mouth
yeah.
a little.
Okay.
But going back to LA Knight, like if you look at what they've been doing with him on Monday Night Raw after Elimination Chamber, after that botch, they've been putting him in a pretty strong position, working essentially with the Usos, giving hell to Paul Heyman and the Vision. So it's like they're shifting him in that right direction.
Botches
Yeah.
happen.
Okay.
Like it's just part of the business. Even the best wrestlers in the world botch occasionally. And so do the Bella Twins. And Nia Jax.
And Lash
And
Legend.
Lash Legend. God, that match was bad. I thought I was watching it on half speed for a while. She botched a disaster kick in the corner. It's one of the simplest moves in the world. All right, anyone else?
We got you right over there.
I can't tell what you're supposed to be. It's so dark.
And
out
then
there.
we have one person there, and then we got you right over here.
So my question's a bit of a two-parter.
Okay.
With Rey Mysterio being out, what are the plans with? What do you think is going to happen with Gunther going into Mania, and what do you think is going to happen with Seth going into Mania?
Hopefully Gunther, I don't know, gets shot into the sun. And what was the other question?
With Oba and Brock having a match at Mania, when they were trying to set up Seth v. Brock earlier, what is the plans for Seth going into Mania? If you
Shot
were to
into the
pick.
sun?
So for Seth Rollins, there's still a hope that Braun Breaker will be back from injury in time for a match at Mania.
Yeah.
Oba Femi versus Brock. We were talking about this last night. You know, while we're not the biggest Brock fans,
That's a kind way of putting it.
this is definitely going to be the rocket to the back of Oba Femi.
It's got to be.
Yeah, because
If Brock doesn't do the job at Mania, then what are we doing?
and one thing that we have learned about Lesnar is that if he likes you, he will put you over big time. And the fact that on Raw, you can literally see Brock mouth to Oba, put your foot on my chest. And then he puts his hand on his foot to hold it in place to make sure that, like, hey, I want this to look as dominant as possible for you. You know, so I'm actually very intrigued with the Oba Femi Lesnar match. But for Seth, who kind of knows what it could be for him because of the fact of, you know, as we stated earlier, the Vision can't stay healthy.
There's also, we're not 100% sure Seth's healthy.
Yeah, I don't think Seth's been cleared yet.
He's just there doing run-ins and stuff, so we'll see.
Yeah, and that's the other factor, if he's healthy or not. We had this gentleman over here with the toque, and then we had this guy right over here.
So I try to follow a lot of different things, AEW, New Japan, WWE, trying to catch up now as we're heading back to WrestleMania. So maybe a chance to talk about something other than Cody. What, in your opinion, is, you know, you guys' favorite wrestlers or some of the best things going on in the different companies that you guys follow or, you know, are familiar with?
Have you heard about this gentleman called Konosuke Takeshita?
I have.
The best wrestler in the world in 2025, and it wasn't close. Compared to who? Yeah, he had like 3 good matches. Yeah, man. Bet. Nah, man. Takeshita's run that he put in through the G1 all the time in New Japan and the stuff he did in AEW and the stuff he did in DDT all at the same time, I think it outclasses Bandito.
What else?
Is he? Really?
Remember when they tried to turn him face and then they instantly turned him heel again? That was really good. Really good.
Yeah. I'm surprised you just haven't said a very specific person.
There's low. I'm trying to. Chelsea Green is like one of the most entertaining things on any television show at the moment. Going to the English promotions, you've got Spike Trevay doing a lot of great work. Over in TNA, Mike Santana's really made a name for himself this year. Leon Slater, another guy from England. I would say Javon Evans, but I find it really hard to watch Javon Evans because every time I watch Javon Evans wrestle, all I can think about is Chris Bay because they're practically the same person. I mean, the obvious one is because
Do you feel that Ospreay came back too early?
Yes. Absolutely too early. But they're trying to get him in a match for All In. So they have it. They need to put the title on Ospreay at some point. Yeah. But they seem to be lining him up to take a run at Okada, it seems. Yeah, but Okada's not the same Okada anymore. It's like Kenny Omega's not Kenny Omega anymore. You know what I mean? On the ladies' side of things, I mean, Willow Nightingale's amazing. Sure.
I think Tony Storm has kind of cooled off a bit.
I'm hesitant to talk about Toni Storm because she might not be back for the rest of 2026. I'm not saying she's not good. I'm just saying I don't want to include her in a list of people to go out and look for when she might not be wrestling for the rest of the year. Mina Shirakawa needs a bit more influence on shine on her. Julia, absolutely phenomenal wrestler. Jordan Grace, unfortunately, she's injured at the moment. Athena, yeah. Jacob Fatu. I could sit here forever and talk about great wrestlers that not enough people are talking about. You can even go down into a lot of the NXT talent, like just the entire NXT roster. Not enough people are talking about it, except Dark State, really. They can just the Shield from Temu, yeah. We were at the NXT pay-per-view in DC where they debuted, and it didn't go over well. Everyone was just like, "It was these jabronis,"
and one of the guys was literally like standing right next to where Ben and I were sitting,
and we're just like, "Who are you?"
I remember like looking to my right and going like, "Oh, hey Ben, look, it's one of those guys going down."
I just remember. What was the name of that stable that Mustafa Ali led?
Oh, Retribution.
Yeah. It's like Dime Store Retribution. Retribution were already Dime Store. Oba. All
Oba.
day, every day.
Oba.
Though, Brock may just be Brock and be like, I'm a sexual predator. Wait, what? I don't want to talk about that. Anyone else? Say that again? I don't care.
Personally, I would love CM Punk to win, but I have read that he might be taking time off, so it might be going to Roman.
I find myself not caring about a lot of WrestleMania. I'll be honest with you.
Honestly,
and next year's going to be even worse because it's in Saudi Arabia.
So I'll say this about Mania. Me and my buddies are going to get together, like we most of the time do. We're going to watch it. We're going to chat. We're going to laugh. And we're just going to have fun watching it, whether it's good or bad, regardless, because that's the point of watching wrestling at the end of the day. I mean, granted, it's supposed to be the biggest show of the year, but, you know, kind of take it how it is in a way.
Yeah, it feels like the 2 WrestleManias in a row, there's been a lot of stuff that's been out of Triple H's control. Like this year, it's all the injuries to the Vision. Last year, it's the John Cena retirement tour nonsense that The Rock clearly had his hands in, and then just when there was a backlash to it, went, "No, I'm nothing to do with this." Yeah, okay, buddy. Tell me about that DC stuff you did again. Yes.
Hello. I totally understand and agree with. I feel like they phoned it in for this WrestleMania, and they will phone it in next year. So to kind of focus on like the peak experiences you've had at live events, I'm curious for both of you. What is your favorite memory from a live event?
From a live event
that you attended?
There was the moment that Matt Cardona kicked me in the head.
We were so
we went to TNA taping in the Philadelphia in the 3200 arena, the old ECW arena, and we're sat front row right on the corner. And one of the TNA staff members comes up. Now I'm a cane user. So a TNA staff member comes up and goes, "Watch yourself. Matt Cardona's coming through here in about 10 seconds, right?" And he leapt over the barricade, and as he leapt over the barricade, he kicked me in the head.
There were 2 other things that happened that weekend. The second one was one of the referees ran by to do something to fix the ring, and the metal pipe that he had in his hand
caught me in the shoulder.
And then Fulton Sawyer's boot came flying off.
So there's a rule. There's this made-up rule on the internet wrestling community where if something at a wrestling show hits you, you own it. So I actually own Madman Fulton's left boot. Because like Josh Alexander had him in an ankle lock and snapped it, and his boot went flying and hit me in the head.
Did you sell for him?
Did I sell for it? Yeah, and it wasn't me actually selling. It bloody hurt because that thing was moving. The other thing that happened that weekend is Mike and I were discussing just randomly Team Canada, and what we didn't know is Scott D'Amore stood right there. And he's like, "No one wants me to bring Team Canada back."
Well, his exact so I knew Scott D'Amore was in front of us because
I didn't.
And so And so I started up the conversation like, hey, Ben, do you know who'd be really great? And we started talking about Team Canada, and you said the line, man, it would be really great to see Team Canada come back. Scott D'Amore turns around and goes, nobody wants to effing see that shit come back.
And at exactly the same time, we both went, we do.
We do.
I
loved Team Canada so much. But yeah, one thing for me though, like obviously that's a shared experience for us. Another shared experience for us was when we got to go to Ring of Honor for a friend Matt Carroll and George Mason, I believe it was. And we actually earlier that year, our friend Mansa had passed away, and we got a fourth seat to be with us. So it was like a way that all four of us were there together, you know, for that show. So that was like more of a sentimental. And actually, one of my more personal ones was SummerSlam 2005 in DC. I was there for that. That was the first pay-per-view I ever got to go to. That was the Matt Hardy Edge street fight that ended a little prematurely because Matt got busted up really bad. And also,
I was fourth row at the Wembley Stadium SummerSlam.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
I actually could see from where I was sitting throughout the entirety of the show until the Eddie Guerrero Rey Mysterio ladder match for the custody of Dominic Mysterio. I could see little 10-year-old Rey Mysterio from where I was.
10-year-old Rey Mysterio?
Or Dominic Mysterio, I mean.
How
I
old?
could see I mean, looking at Dominic and Rey now, I mean, but
You can see through time.
but I could see Dominic Mysterio as a kid, the kid Dominic, sitting where he was from where I was sitting at what was then known as the MCI Center. And I actually had a picture of Rey Mysterio drop kicking Eddie Guerrero off the ladder. And years later, when I was with MCW, I actually got to show that picture of the Rey Mysterio, and he just started to tear up a little bit because it was the last match that Eddie Guerrero ever had in Washington, D.C.
But I think my favorite live memory, I was talking a little bit about this before we actually started the show. My first memory of wrestling is when I was 5. That was 43 years ago. My dad took me to a little guild hall in my hometown of Portsmouth in England. 60-odd people in the crowd. I got to watch the then Steven Regal and Fit Finlay tie each other in knots for 45 minutes. And I've been an addict ever since. And every month I would save my pocket money. I would buy myself a front row seat, and I would have my popcorn and my soda that was the side of my head, because I was like 7 years old. And it got to the point where the wrestlers would know exactly where I would sit, and they would yell at me when they were coming out, and they'd recognize me. Steven Regal would constantly call me a toe rag. And just, there's nothing like live wrestling. It's amazing.
And it's funny because, you know, we've had this conversation several times. Like, I've stopped watching AEW. It's become a promotion I just can't watch because everything has to be hardcore. There's a lot of bleeding. I can't really get into a lot of the storytelling on the show. But like the last AEW that we went to, you talked me into going because I was kind of like, eh. But when you see it live, it's a lot better watching it live than watching it on TV, so, depending on the promotion sometimes. And it's like, it's just...
There's nothing like live wrestling.
Yeah.
There was a question over here.
Yeah, you're right there, and then we'll come to you, sir.
Great question, by the way. We've never been asked that before. Isn't how long we've been doing this?
So I have a bit of a two-parter again, and so the first one is AEW related, and then the next one is WWE related. So when Hangman comes back, right? How do you think they should tell this story, since he can't challenge for the world title anymore?
Oh,
better than they have been. How's that?
And the other one is, what are your top 5 favorite wrestling pay-per-views of all time?
Well, I'm going to have to say SummerSlam 1992 because I was there.
And I'll have to say SummerSlam 2005 because I was there.
Rumble 92 because Ric Flair. That the undercard's not great, but that's one of the best Rumble matches of all time. Bobby Heenan's commentary is amazing. Yeah. That's an all-timer line. Gene Oakland telling someone to put a cigarette out.
WrestleMania 17 has to be on that list.
Oh yeah. Well, so for me, WrestleMania 17's on there simply because of that's the first WrestleMania that I ever watched. But I also have a sweet spot for Royal Rumble 2001. So because like
Is
again,
that the one with Vince McMahon's in?
no. That's not 99 was.
Drew Carey is in that.
Drew Carey was in the 2001 Rumble. And that was also but that was also the great ladder match between Jericho and Benoit. Like that was, like I love Benoit's matches, but like it's hard a lot to separate the reality from it's hard, but like Kurt Angle and Stone Cold Steve Austin still to this day refer to him as possibly one of their best rivals. But like definitely SummerSlam 2005, Rumble 2001. I have WrestleMania 17 on my list personally.
There's a Progress show called Old Man Yells at Cloud that I really enjoyed. All of the Progress unboxing shows always entertain me. Progress is an English promotion.
Yeah, I've seen
and every Christmas they do a show called Unboxing where they don't announce the card.
Oh, that's perfect.
And they just do a bunch of random stuff. What else? You're like asking me to pick between my favorite children, and I don't have any children. There's some the two at SummerSlam don't. The one I will always watch if I'm in a bad place is Royal Rumble 1992. That's just my favorite pay-per-view of all time. I think. Between the stupid undercard of like the New Foundation against the Orient Express and the Bushwhackers against the Beverly Brothers and some other bloody nonsense that Vince McMahon had cooked up. But that Royal Rumble match is just, I'd say it's almost the perfect Royal Rumble match. There's no filler entrance. You don't have your Berserkers or your Hercules or your Brooklyn Brawler or whatever in there.
Are Savage and Hogan in that match?
Huh?
I mean, are Savage and Hogan in that match?
Yes, they're both in that match.
Was it?
Savage eliminates himself to get a Jake the Snake because it's right after Jake the Snake has attacked Miss Elizabeth. And the ending is the final three are Sid Justice, Hogan, and Flair. And Sid Justice dumps Hogan out. And then Hogan, being the ultra mega face that he was, cheats and eliminates Sid Justice to help Ric Flair win. Because Hulk Hogan's the good guy, didn't you know that? Racist piece of crap.
So
there was someone who had another question.
There was this gentleman right here, and I saw the guy with the Fantastic Four outfit have his hand up.
So you mentioned MCW.
Yes.
So this question is kind of a indie circuit question because I'm actually in the indie circuit as a ring announcer. So I want to ask you, what is like your favorite indie circuit promotion?
Progress.
So it's not MCW for the way they let me go.
Actually, is it still Progress?
I will say this while you're thinking. I do value my time at MCW. I got to work with Leo Rush, MJF. I got to do some cool interviews and stuff
Hey
like
guys, did you hear that? Those were names.
that. No, but the thing is like this is one of those promotions where those guys came from.
Yeah.
But but like, and I do value the time there. I just don't like the way I got let go. You had mentioned Mystery Wrestling. I'm going to be honest, that's probably my favorite indie right now because sometimes we need the silliness, and
See,
I'm
that's what
really
I was about to
enjoying
go
it.
to. So it's very hard for me to not say Progress, just because of my connections to some of the people that wrestle there. But there's another English promotion called Riot Cabaret that is a much sillier promotion that also has really serious storylines as well. And it's like $5 a month if anyone wants to check them out for their on-demand service. I cannot recommend it enough. There's some really stupid stuff that happens there. They have matches that are entirely based around singing. They have all kinds of gimmick matches, but they also have some really cool serious storylines in there. Riot Cabaret. Yeah.
Because like for me, like I've worked with so many promotions in like Virginia, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. Because I've been doing it for 3 years.
Yeah.
But like if I had to like go out of town, like out of the country and do a show, it would definitely be WAW in Norwich.
Okay. North Wrestling's really good as well. I ain't got to see much of their stuff recently, just because there's only so much time in the day. But yeah.
All right. You, and then we
Then
got.
we'll come back to Red Hood, I think it is. Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk about a little bit. What are your top 5 favorite character wrestlers?
Character wrestlers?
Yeah, like gimmick characters, like Danhausen, Eugene.
So I will say even though the debut of Danhausen wasn't very strong, I'm loving how he's being utilized on Raw and SmackDown now. I really do like
It's
that.
far better than anything they ever did in AEW.
Yeah, 100% a lot better than what they had him do in AEW, if they ever used him.
It depends on what you mean by a character wrestler. If you're talking about someone that's a comedy wrestler, that's not necessarily a character wrestler. Because you have someone like, I'm going to bring him up again, and I may feel like a broken record, someone like William Regal, who can do the serious stuff, but he's also brilliant at comedy wrestling. Danhausen is very vocal about how he based a lot of his facial expressions off of stuff that William Regal did. There's,
I mean,
please,
could we
Doink's not even top 10.
Could we, in a way, with the current what he's doing currently right now, could we put Kit Wilson into the conversation a little bit? Because I'm loving what Kit Wilson is doing right now. I actually downloaded his theme song and put it on my MP3 player. So
I don't know, man.
I have that for my walks.
I don't know, man. I think the Kit Wilson stuff's great. I just think I used to watch him and Elton back on the English scene, and they were so much better than what he's being given now. They were one of the best tag teams in the world at one point.
Any news on Britt Baker?
Nope.
I know she's been gone since, I think, September.
Good.
So, no word, she's not coming back.
No idea.
We haven't heard a damn thing.
So, Red Hood over there.
Red Hood? Like, not to cut off your question, but there just is no news.
Yeah, when there's no news, there's really nothing to talk about.
Yeah. She's making more money as a dentist, probably.
Actually, she stopped. She actually said in an interview that she stopped doing dentistry because of fans stalking the practices and stuff like that.
whatever.
So she had to
Red
stop.
Hood, what's up?
Going back to character wrestlers, I think the greatest character wrestler of all time is The Undertaker. And I just wanted to know, since WrestleMania hasn't been the same without them, what are your favorite streak matches?
Literally none of them. Yep. I lost all respect for The Undertaker the moment he came out as a Trump supporter. Sorry. Okay, the one where he got chloroformed. Okay, it's really hard to not say the Shawn Michaels matches because they are the best WrestleMania matches of all time, and it's not close. Sorry, Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage fans, but the two matches he had with The Undertaker are just the best WrestleMania matches of all time. But
I agree with the Shawn Michael matches. I would probably put, if there's maybe a top 5, I would probably throw the Punk match in there.
The end of an era match, which should have been the end of the era, he should have stopped at that point.
Yeah, that was end of era. But, I one of the reasons I also like the Punk one is because that was right around the time when Paul Bearer passed away.
Yeah, and they did the whole Ashes storyline.
Yeah, and so and you had Paul Heyman dress up and act as Paul Bearer. Weird.
Yeah, no, like I joke and say none of them, but like I've never really enjoyed a whole lot of the Undertaker's matches. As I was saying earlier, it's not my style of wrestling. The reason I like the Shawn Michaels matches is because Shawn Michaels was in them. He did a lot more of my style of wrestling.
Well, there was a table of 3, and I think it was like Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and DDP, and one of the questions, I think it was DDP who asked Kevin Nash this, was, who are some of your favorite opponents? And he says, it was definitely guys like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, because a big guy working with the little guys, you can get a lot more out of it than just 2 big guys wrestling, in a match against each other. So it was like, you're able to tell a better story in a Shawn Michaels Undertaker style match than, maybe an Undertaker versus Kane match in a way. Although maybe you could throw the first Taker Kane match, after Kane debuted, you could probably throw that one at least on that list.
It's weird. The streak is this weird manufactured thing that ended incorrectly. No, it shouldn't.
Honestly, there is talk about Edge being the one to break it years before.
No.
And Edge turned it down.
So the thing with a thing like the streak, right? Much like with John Cena's career, is the person that ends it is made from that moment. Bray didn't need it. He was made because he was so unique, right? Gunther didn't need to end John Cena's career because he was already made. Right? It should have been someone that needed it. Wade Barrett, thank you very much. If he could have stayed healthy. Huh? No. Roman didn't need it.
Roman didn't need it because he was already being slammed down our throats. That's why everyone was booing the man.
I mean, if it's weird because I can't remember like exactly who was around at the time that the streak was broken, but like it shouldn't have been Brock of all bloody people. I don't know. I'm sorry. Anyone else?
We got you, and then we got the gentleman in the back.
And then we got the Fiend. Let's do the gentleman in the back first, and we'll work our way forwards.
There's a mic
You've got a
coming.
microphone coming.
This is actually, hold on, before you ask your question, Ben, you do realize that this is the first time we've actually had people asking questions on a microphone since probably the second year of AwesomeMania.
Yeah.
So we're used to people yelling at us, okay?
And that's not even just in the panels, just in my regular life.
No, we want you to use the mic because we've always begged for it.
We have an excellent support staff here that we would love to use. I'm not going to do that.
No.
I'll drop my phone, but not the microphone.
So,
yes, sir.
My question is, like, with Rhea Ripley when they did her opening at WrestleMania with Motionless in White, and you can, like, see her like, excitement with that. Do you feel like that adds more to the character and to the story and those matches at WrestleMania, or, like, takes away from it in some way? Because I know
it's just cool. Like that, I will go back and watch that entrance regularly.
I've actually done that too.
Because there is a moment in that where Rhea Ripley that does this thing, and she's singing along to it. And she's walking down, and she goes wide-eyed and points at her eyes, and she looks absolutely psychotic. And he's like, Becky Lynch is dead.
Like, there's an art to having the band performing you out live. Like, actually, I just watched the Ripley one the other day. Last night, I was actually watching the Randy Orton Rev Theory entrance going into WrestleMania 30. Fun fact, when Triple H was played out by Motorhead, he's 0-2, but when Drowning Pool played him out, he's 1-0 at WrestleMania. Random, stupid fact that I have in my head, but that's also because I'm a big Motorhead fan.
Fair enough.
But there's this really neat art of just seeing these bands actually performing the wrestlers out. It's really cool.
It also depends on the band, right? Like, Rhea Ripley's entrance was a great example of it. It wasn't the most polished performance, but it was what that entrance needed, right? When Cult of Personality was played to bring CM Punk out live, there's nothing like that, right? It's just, I don't know. It's not about adding or subtracting, but it's just freaking cool. Like, there's some of the stuff that they add that adds to an entrance, and there's some stuff that they add that subtracts from an entrance, like Triple H's plastic Terminator skeleton. But then you have, like, the Choir introducing Roman that one year, and you're like, okay, he's the final boss, right? It was,
Yeah, because
This was before The Rock's final boss stuff.
Yeah, because for me personally, because I'm also a fan of Motionless in White, and I've heard her talk about it, it's cool seeing, like, a person getting super excited that's, like, built up very big and high, and they're like, you can see, like, the kid in them coming out, and they're like, oh my God, I get to do this, and I never thought this would happen in my life.
So, while we're on the subject of music, I want a show of hands. Hands up for Def Rebel.
Put your hand down, please.
Hands up for CFO Money sign music. Hands up for Jim Johnson music. Okay, we're correct. Good to know.
But I actually want to, one last thing, and then we'll go to the next question, which will be The Fiend, and then it'll be you, sir.
Yeah. And then I think Red Hood's got another question.
Yeah. One thing that just popped in my head was from WrestleMania 18, which is also where Drowning Pool played Triple H to the ring. Jesus Christ. Saliva played the Dudleys to the ring. And seeing Bubba Ray Dudley go up to Saliva and just start headbanging the way he did, like, it added to the Dudleys, getting.
It just made me worry about his CTE.
But in that moment there, that is adding to, like, you're seeing Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon just getting really ramped up and ready to
Some
go.
of those Ruthless Aggression tracks were really, really good. Some of them were not. Anyway, up for The Fiend.
The Fiend, this gentleman, and then Red Hood again.
Hey, so going back to not so much with wrestling characters, but since wrestling is partially, if not majorly, a story-based type of promotion.
Yep.
What are your favorite wrestling storylines? Can be any from any promotion, but what are your favorite storylines that
Can I just say yes? I don't know.
So jokingly, when Alberto Del Rio ran over Santa Claus. But no, I'm going to go back to, like, what I said before we officially started the panel, which is, the who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin, because that whole thing led into the Hell in a Cell, that Armageddon Hell in a Cell, which got me into wrestling. So, like, I kind of default to that one a little bit, just simply because that's what made me a wrestling fan right there.
You all are asking some questions that just...
We don't get asked.
Infinite possibilities. It's really hard not to say the Hangman Page storyline with the alcoholism and the Dark Order. I've never felt that way when I've seen someone win a world title before.
That was really, that's probably one of the best storylines that AEW has probably done.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Hangman and Swerve is a great rivalry.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into that. There's a storyline that is kind of a storyline, but kind of not, which was the Ric Flair retirement story in WWE, where the next time he lost a match, he would retire, and it led to "I'm sorry, I love you," which is one of the best WrestleMania moments of all time. Yeah. The man literally died in the ring on his last match, so, and now he's looking to wrestle again, and Charlotte's just like, "Dad, stop!" Go back to an English promotion, back to Progress. I know he's a bit persona non grata now, but the whole Jimmy Havoc storyline with him being and Will Ospreay dethroning him, yep. The way he won the title and held it for like 2 years or so, that was great. The Spike Trevay Cara Noir storylines from Progress, where if Cara lost, he would lose rights to the gimmick of Cara Noir and all of its moveset, and then lost, and then got really, really injured, and that whole storyline had to go away for a while. It's really hard to not say the Mega Powers, even though I really don't like talking about Hulk Hogan. DX versus the Hart Foundation. That was DX. Was it DX?
Yeah, it was DX. Because they did the whole thing where they did the blackface and all that other stuff. Yeah.
That's the Nation of Domination.
Oh, yeah, Nation of Domination. Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
We got time for this gentleman.
So-
one last question.
All right.
Sorry, Red Hood.
So we were just talking about the best pro wrestling storylines. I'm gonna
Sorry,
flip.
can you repeat that?
We were just talking about the best pro wrestling storylines.
Yeah.
Let's flip it to the wars and from any promotion, which wrestling storyline would you rectify?
Oh, God.
Katie Vick. I'm going to be controversial here and say the Wyatt Six. They should have just let Bray be Bray. Let him be remembered.
Like the
Their
Wire
debut
6
was awesome.
debut was awesome, but then it just fell off a cliff
Yeah.
after that.
Anything involving Eugene.
I think Retribution could have been done a lot better. Like the fact that they're causing havoc, and then they're like, oh well, now we have contracts now, and they're like, oh, and obviously here's one, the Nexus, not getting super super Cena.
No. The storyline was fine. The politicking was bad.
Yeah.
Yep, Cena.
Super Cena, lol, I win. We could be here forever, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We
There's
have
a lot of bad storylines in wrestling.
Yeah.
All right, so we do need to start wrapping up at this point. Before we do, there's something I like to say at every convention that we're at. First of all, we've sat up here and talked a lot about the kinds of wrestling we like. Okay? We are not telling you if you like a different kind of wrestling, you are wrong. Because that's fucked up. Don't yuck someone else's yum. If someone likes to wrestling, that's cool. Start talking about wrestling. Don't tell people they're wrong for liking AEW or WWE or liking strongman wrestling instead of liking submission wrestling because they don't like Zack Sabre Jr. and they do like Obafemi or whatever, right? Wrestling is wrestling is wrestling is wrestling, and it should all be celebrated. The other thing I always like to say before we do our final wrap-up, you'll see a lot of people walking around this convention this weekend wearing shirts that say Sidekick on them. They are all volunteering their time so that you guys can enjoy this convention this weekend. I can speak from personal experience, being the volunteer director of another convention. It's a thankless task. Fix that. You see someone in a Sidekick shirt, say thank you to them. They deserve it. All right. Now you can actually do the outro.
All right. So if the, social media.
Yeah, that's part of the
Oh, yeah.
outro, my dude.
Yeah.
God, it's like he's an amateur. We've only been doing this for 15 years.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been AwesomeMania, the pro wrestling fan panel. Ben, where can the
Jesus
people...
Christ, has it been that long? Sorry.
No.
It's not been quite 15 years.
Almost. I'm Michael Lindenbaum. He's Ben Taylor. Ben, where can the people find you on social media?
Nowhere.
Okay, fantastic.
I don't do social media. We had a convention. We were talking to a convention recently, and they were like, "Why doesn't Ben post about us on Instagram?" And Mike had to be like, "Ben doesn't have Instagram," and their brain exploded. I have a personal Facebook that is for friends and family only. I'm sorry, everyone. Follow Mike. He'll tweet everything.
Yeah, I really do, because you can follow me at the Lindenbaum75, and then also go to my website, txhthockey.com. Our podcast, AwesomeMania, is on there. It's been a little bit...
on hiatus.
It's been on hiatus. We're trying to rework a few things about what we want to do with the show moving forward. Also, our sister podcast, Voices from the Grid, which we also have that panel today at 6:30 p.m. in Panel Room 1. So go check us out over there if you're a Power Ranger fan. Same type of format as this right here. And... yeah, so just at the Lindenbaum75, just follow me on all social media outlets on there. I tweet out and post everything on there so you can know when we have stuff coming out.
That being said, Richmond, Virginia, has been an absolute pleasure discussing wrestling with you. It's been an absolute pleasure to have our debut here at GalaxyCon. We will be out in the hallway if you want to keep talking wrestling, but there is a panel after us. So we'll leave you, as we always do, with the words of the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, by saying, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and all of those beyond that spectrum, please be excellent to each other and party on, my friends.
Thank you, everyone. Until next time, we'll see you ringside.
Peace!